Hello, beautiful friends. As I recently have been trying to figure out ways to incorporate more vegetables into my diet while I incorporate more vegetables into my children's diet, there has been some conflict there. So, as I hash out some ways to do that, I thought that would be a good conversation to have here online to give you some ideas, for you to give me some ideas, and that's something we can all hash out together. Um, I don't know about you, but my kids are little. They're 4 and 6, so they are in a really picky eating stage. And I have found myself at a place where I am not eating nearly enough vegetables because my kids aren't eating them. And it's not so much as not eating enough vegetables, but we're eating too much of the other stuff like macaroni and cheese and pretty much just whatever will get my children's bellies full. And my diet and my husband's diet have been neglected as a result. So I am currently trying out different ways of fitting in more vegetables into our diet. So I thought I would share. I'm going to share my screen here. So one of the ways that I do that is sneaking it in. There have been cookbooks around, Jessica Seinfeld, I think, wrote one, Jerry Seinfeld's wife, about how to sneak vegetables into our kids' diet. And she pureed all kinds of things and snuck them into like every dish that she made. And there were a couple good ideas in there, but I didn't want to be just like throwing in random vegetables just for the sake of throwing in random vegetables. But there are some really great ways to use vegetables as alternate ingredients in some of the things that we usually eat to kind of sneak them in. One that I have found recently, and it's especially with baked goods, lentils. Kids Eat in Color is a great account on Instagram. And let me see if I can pull that up so you can see it. That's not it. Kids Eat in Color. She has a cookbook with lots of different like meal plans and ideas. And so she has a recipe called freezer banana muffins or something. And what she did was she blended cooked lentils into avocado oil as the oil base for baked goods. And it was completely undetectable. And it just added some good nutrition in. So I know we've all seen there's all kinds of recipes you can find online with sneaking things like black bean brownies and things like that into your baked goods. And it was just a really good recipe. It had avocado oil, it had bananas. There wasn't a whole lot of sugar in it. It had chocolate chips. That's how we get our sweetness. And the bananas were sweet. But we would never eat lentils otherwise. And it's really important to have variety in your diet of different fruits and vegetables and like lean organic meats that diversify your microbiome. And so to get lentils, that was like the only way we're going to get lentils into our diet right now. So I thought that was pretty cool. So sneaking them in. Oops. So another way to get some more veggies into my diet is to bulk up dishes. One of my favorite things to do with ground beef is to bulk it up with mushrooms. So I chop them up really finely, and when you are sauteing ground beef, you can just throw like cremini mushrooms. They have a very like dense beefy flavor, and they're completely undetectable. So even if your family does not like mushrooms, mine does. So it's not a big deal. I can throw a whole lot of extras in there. But just bulking up your meat dishes with vegetables is a good way to get them in. And if you're making like a stew or a soup or something that has meat and vegetables, just throw in extra vegetables. So your ratio for like meat to vegetable is like higher on the vegetable side is a great way to get those in there. afterthought. Unfortunately, like this tends to be my MO right now, where I'm just like, oh shoot, I forgot to prepare a vegetable. And I will reach in the fridge and find something that I can roast, usually like a head of broccoli, which is fine, but it doesn't always get done. So I buy these things and I'm like, oh, I'm going to make some broccoli. Then it sits in my fridge. And then my meal's almost done being prepared. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need a vegetable. And I throw in the broccoli. So finding things that can be cooked quickly, like sauteed greens, is good. You can just saute up some like spinach. If you buy bulk spinach to put in smoothies and things, you can just saute that up really quick with some oil, salt and pepper, and garlic is really good. But I'm guilty of that. And it's not the best method. But there's also something to be said for that being separate, because little kids, most of the time, need their foods separated. So they're not great with like casseroles or stews where everything is mixed together. So if you have a picky eater at home, you might have more luck with cooking your vegetables separate. I have one kid who will eat the tops off the broccoli. We call them little trees. And that makes it more appealing to her. So even if it's an afterthought, you can just throw that in there. The best way is to plan ahead. Find some recipes that have more vegetables incorporated in them that are things that your family might like. So instead of just going to the grocery store and picking a random vegetable that you decide you want to try, take some time. Pinterest is a great resource for recipes. Take some time to find some recipes that sound good and go shop according to what that recipe is. And that way you have a plan for how you're going to get that vegetable on your plate at night. So I hope that helps. This is where I'm at right now. My kids are living on like macaroni and cheese and hamburgers and just an afterthought of a vegetable. And for me and my husband, when I need to have an afterthought of a vegetable, it's usually a side salad. But my kids don't eat side salads. So I really need to be purposeful about finding ways to get those vegetables in. So if you have ideas on ways that you've gotten your kids to enjoy vegetables, some meals that you've incorporated that they really seem to like, I'd love to hear them in the comments. But like I said, a really great resource if you have picky kids and you're trying to incorporate more vegetables into their diet. It's all about exposure. And even for us too, if we don't like certain things, we need to be exposed to it and try it a few times, and we might get a taste for it. So if you go to Kids Eat in Color on Instagram, she's a great resource. And on her website, she has a couple paid resources that include a lot of great recipes. And I've really been enjoying that. It's Real Easy Weekdays was the one that has that muffin recipe with the lentils. So I hope that helps. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you have any ideas or any questions about how to get your kids to eat more vegetables, I would love to hear them. Have a great day.